It hurts a lot of us. I blame capitalism, okay? We're made to work for a living. What's your friend's best color? You don't know. Church is a great place to find people to be friends with. Hi guys, and welcome back to Oyin Brandy's channel. If this is your first time stopping by, you are most definitely welcome. Please give this video a thumbs up if you end up liking it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. So this video is one that's very dear to my heart, one that I've felt a huge conviction to actually film. You already saw the title, Why We Do Not Have Friends Anymore. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening in this world, in this generation. People no longer have friends, so we're here to tackle why, what the problem is, what's causing it, and how we can move forward from there. And I'm also going to give some personal examples of my own life to reinforce the details. So let's go. So I'm just going to talk about my own experience in friendships. I have a lot of people that care about me. I have a lot of people around me. I have a lot of people that genuinely love me. I have lots of friends, and it's beautiful. I think the more important question is why we don't have those close friendships anymore. Friendships where you can be 100% yourself, where you can be vulnerable, where you can hit people up anytime and they're willing to talk to you. Friendships where you can just give your all and you're also receiving the other person's all. That's kind of what's lacking in this generation. That's kind of what's lacking in this day and time. And I'm trying to understand why. What is the problem? How did we get here? What exactly is the issue? And the first thing I'm going to be talking about today is the media and how the media has affected, us being able to make friends, and how the media has affected our perception of what friendship should really be like. I'm Nigerian, for people that don't know, if you're new here. I'm Nigerian. I remember growing up in Nigeria and watching a lot of entertainment TV, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and you're watching all these shows. And one thing that is very prominent in all these shows that we watch is the idea of best friendship. Think about Hannah Montana. Think about the Wizards of Waverly Place. Just think about how, there was this concept of best friendship. Look at Hannah Montana and Lily. Look at Alex and Harper in their own relationship, and how there was just bond. So there are two ideas of friendships that we would notice in the media. The first one is two people being best friends with each other, and you're that person's best friend, and that person also knows that you're best friends with them, if that makes sense. And the idea of group friendships. We see some shows where it's more so like 4 people or 3 people being all best friends with each other. And I remember I recently watched Girlfriends. I didn't get to watch it growing up. So I recently watched Girlfriends, I would say probably over a year ago now. I watched it and I just loved the friendship so much between all the girls. And I used to wish, I had this sort of friendship where we're also bonded together. There's just this closeness, and there's just this love, and there's just this unity. That's the idea of friendships that the media has shown us. That's what we see in the media. That's what we expect from our own lives. That's the kind of friendships that we all want. I don't know if I'm alone. Maybe you don't want it, but that's what I grew up wanting. And now you realize that we're adults, and that's not the case. People are busy, people have their own lives. You almost have to book an appointment to speak to your friend these days, and you wonder why. These movies and shows, they leave you hurt, they leave you kind of disappointed, because what you expect friendship to be like is not what friendships are actually like. So friendships don't end up being that. It's sort of a false perception of what friendship is. We need to debunk the media's idea of friendships. It hurts a lot of us, okay? It hurts a lot of us. We need to probably learn more about how to be better friends. I think the media doesn't really show you how to be a better friend. It shows you what the friendship looks like after it's been worked on, but it doesn't show you the how. So in our bid to maintain these things that we saw growing up, or in our bid to imitate these things that we saw growing up, we fall into errors. And most times we think that we're the ones that are not good enough. Sometimes we think that, we're not able to maintain good friendships, and it may not be that way. It may not be the case. Maybe there are just some things that we need to work on ourselves, or it might not even be you, it might be the other person. So let's see how we can work on those things as we go. And we'll talk about all of that later in the video. Number 2 reason why we don't have friends anymore in this generation is because we do not prioritize our friendships. I'm not going to be the one saying, yeah, give your all to your friendships, blah, 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 because I also have my faults. I also have situations where I have not prioritized my friends. The honest truth is that people are busy, people have their lives to live, and I blame capitalism, okay? I totally blame capitalism. We're made to work for a living and almost have no time to spend with people that we really care about. We have work, we have bills, we have some people have children. I don't have children yet, hopefully in the future. People have to balance so much, well, here on one side, struggling with work-life balance, and imagine having to add on other relationships outside of your romantic relationships into the equation. And the society we live right now has placed so much emphasis on building romantic relationships. How can your romantic relationship be better? There's just so much emphasis placed on romantic relationships that no one is talking about how to build real friendships. How can your friendships be better? You see a lot of blog posts, a lot of articles about, how to get him to call you back, how to get him to take you on a first date or whatever. It's always about the other person. It's always about a romantic relationship rather, not about a friendship relationship. So we kind of have to learn to be good friends on our own when the media isn't really talking about it as much, if that makes sense. It's not our fault. The world doesn't just prioritize friendships. So the truth is, we really do not know how to handle friendships. And I'm going to talk as a first person here. I do not know how to handle friendships. I don't know how to communicate effectively. Personally, hard conversations are very, very difficult for me to have because I am not confrontational. I'm not a person that can confront you easily about something that you've done. I'm just not like that. That's just not my personality. And I think that it's also made friendships a little bit different for me, a little bit more difficult for me, being that I do not, and I'm just talking about me as a person, okay? I don't know about you. I do not, or I'm not able to give 100% of myself in my friendships because I automatically have a wall put up where no one can disrespect me. No one can hurt my feelings. It's a wall that has just been put up. I don't know when this started. I don't know how this came about. Maybe it was when I was much younger. Maybe it's due to a traumatic experience. I don't know. But it's just, I know that there's a wall that I've put up in front of me that would not allow people to be able to hurt me, not allow people to have the capacity to be able to hurt me. And that's why, if you're my friend, you know that I've never gotten into any serious arguments with any of my friends. I've never fallen out with anybody, but that may seem like a good thing to the outside world, but I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing, because that means that, one, I don't have difficult conversations. Number two, that also means that I'm not giving myself away enough. I'm not being vulnerable enough for someone to be able to hurt me. I don't know if you kind of understand what I'm saying. I don't know if this relates to you, but this is just my personal experience. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to be a good friend. Something I'm praying about, something I'm asking God to help me through, and I hope that, He will. I know that He will, actually. Number 3 reason why we don't have friends anymore is because we don't place enough value in our friendships. Friendships require value placement. You need to place value on your friendships. You see people in romantic relationships, if they're going through issues, what do? They go to therapy, they seek counsel. But you see people in friendships, when they're going through issues, what do? They either ignore the issue or they break up. I mean, breaking up sometimes may be necessary, but then it should not be the first step when you're trying to grow a friendship. Breaking up should never be your first option, if that makes sense. So go to therapy, because we place so much emphasis on those romantic relationships that we would do anything to make them work. But are you at a place where you would actually do anything to make your friendships work as well? I don't think I'm there. I'm working towards it, but are you there as a person? Number 4 reason why we don't have friends anymore is because we don't know how to classify our friends. The truth is, not everybody is your friend. Sometimes someone is just an acquaintance, sometimes someone is just a colleague. So I'm going to read out the dictionary meaning of, what an acquaintance is, what a colleague is, so you can kind of get the perception of what I'm saying. So an acquaintance is a person one knows slightly, keyword slightly, but who is not a close friend. Even under acquaintances, there should still be different classifications, okay? There's some people that are like your casual acquaintance, and then there's some people that are your familiar acquaintance. Casual acquaintances, you probably see them once or twice, you just see them around, maybe they're friends of friends, you see them around, you're cordial. Familiar acquaintances, you know them a little bit more, but maybe you have not developed that sense of friendship. And the truth is that friendships need to be built. The problem with me that I've noticed in some of my friendships is that I get into circumstantial friendships. So because someone is a friend of a friend, I maybe start talking to them and then start considering them my friend. But the problem with that is we do not have deep enough roots. There are no roots. Most things are just very surface level because we haven't actually built roots. You know how you're talking to a guy or something and you get to know the person because you hope that a relationship could come out of this. There's a lot of process that goes into getting to know someone. Even something as cringy as, knowing their best food, knowing their best color. These things are important. These things are very, 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 very important. But do you do that in your friendships? Probably not. You end up being friends with someone that you basically almost do not know a lot about. You don't even know anything about them. You don't know anything. What's your friend's best color? You don't know. Now, what is a colleague? A colleague is a person with whom one works in a profession or business. In a profession or business. Because someone works with you at the office doesn't necessarily make them your friend. Because they've brought you a cup of coffee once or twice doesn't make them your friend. Have you really had a deep conversation with that person? Have you gotten to know the person? Do you know the person's pet's name? Probably not. Are they your friend? Probably not. So here are some questions to ask yourself to know if someone should actually be called your friend. Would you apologize or be worried about calling them on a weekend or late at night? If someone is really your friend, you probably don't need to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry for calling you at this time, except you know they're busy or whatever, but you don't have to always apologize. But when you find yourself always apologizing, oh my God, I'm so sorry for doing this, you don't know their schedule, so you have to apologize because you don't know if they're busy. That person is probably not your friend. Would you be comfortable borrowing the person's car? That person that you call your friend, would you be comfortable borrowing their car? If not, then that person is probably just an acquaintance. So knowing how to classify people in your life would actually prevent you from getting hurt. It will prevent you from disappointment because you don't overemphasize or put so much emphasis on the value that person places in your life when, to be honest, that person, they barely even know you. So stop getting hurt by calling everybody your friend because in truth and in honesty, not everybody is your friend. Okay? Do you get it? Hope you do. Guys, I'm also talking to myself as well. This is not just throwing shade at anybody. These are things that I'm trying to imbibe into my life going forward so that I can truly have proper friendships and deep relationships. Number 5 reason why you probably don't have any friends is because of personal values, okay? I have some personal values that I uphold in my life that already cut out the kind of people that I can refer to as friends. I'm not the type to go clubbing. I'm not the type to be partying and drinking. If that's you, then have fun, enjoy it. It's just not me. And I'm also a Christian, so it's very important that a lot of my friends, at least people that I want to develop closer relationships with, are also Christian. I want to have a certain level of connection with you that may not be able to happen if we don't share the same values or the same faith. And number 6 reason why, well, maybe not, this is not a reason why we don't have friends, but I'm going to share it anyway, is that it's okay to let people go sometimes. It's very, very okay to let people go. There are some times when you know that a friendship is pretty much done. It's just a string or a cord holding that friendship together. You can let it go. It's okay. It's okay. It's just like romantic relationships as well. There's a time that you know that the relationship has faded away and you're both not giving 100% anymore. At that point, if you feel like you have worked through it, you have gone to therapy if need be, you have sought counsel, you have spoken to other people, and nothing's working, it's okay to let people go without feeling sad or feeling disappointment. What people don't understand is that friendship breakups actually do hurt a little bit more than romantic relationships, because sometimes these are friendships of years, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, even people that you've been friends with since high school. Imagine breaking up with that person after you know their family knows you, you know their schedule, you know their lifestyle. It can hurt, but sometimes it may be necessary. So now let's talk about how to make new friends, how to make good friends as an adult, as a female, how to make more friends, and how to keep your friendships, okay? It's one thing to be able to make friends. It's another thing to have the grace to keep your friendships. First thing I'm doing in my personal life is asking myself, am I being a good friend to my friends? I'm very, very, very terrible at texting, but one thing I'm trying to do is put in the work. Try texting, try replying your text, try calling. You don't have to always wait for your friends to be the one to call you. Why don't you try calling them? Because they can get tired, they can get burnt out, always being the one calling you. It almost feels like, you know, there's not that balance in friendship. So try calling, try being the one reaching out. You see, that would change things, okay? Number 2, stop pushing the blame to other people. Oftentimes, you're the problem. me included, okay? Oftentimes, we are the problem. It's not necessarily your friend's fault. We need to go through a little bit of introspection. Think deep. Look inwardly, okay? Are you doing the best that you can in a friendship? The kind of friendships that you want, the kind of standards that you have in friendships, are you giving that as well? Maybe not. You should try to start doing that, and you see that things will work out well for you. Number 3, start going out more. Get to meet other people. Don't think that friend is just going to drop on you. And the truth is that if you don't make friends yourself, you would end up in a lot of circumstantial friendships. If you don't make friends yourself, you are not going to probably develop deep relationships with people. It'll just be all surface level. So go out, join a book club, do things that you love, go to church. Church is a great place to find people to be friends with. The world is such a global village now, and you can meet people that are very much like you on social media. But please, disclaimer, be very careful, because some people on social media are also very crazy, okay? And finally, put yourself out there. Don't be blocked off. Be very approachable. Sometimes people will even want to walk up to you, but you know, your face is just squeezed. I know that this topic of friendship is a very, very sensitive one, and this is the reason why I'm trying to make light of the situation, even though it's very, very deep. It's a very deep, very sensitive one, and honestly, I just pray for each and every single person watching me right now that those friends that you need in this season will locate you, you will locate them, and it will be a beautiful journey in Jesus' name. Amen. We have now come to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it meant something to you. I hope that it ministered to you. You might not be having issues with your friendships. Maybe your friendships are doing well, but these are just some of the things I've noticed in my life, and I decided to share, because that's what we do on this channel, right? We share, we're open, we're vulnerable, and we're honest. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy, still leave a thumbs up. Make sure to share this video with everyone that you know. You never know who needs it. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and have a wonderful one. Bye.